quick warning before you dive headfirst into your revision. A huge chunk of the UCAT guides and online resources you're probably looking at right now, they are completely out of date. The test has fundamentally changed for 2026. And look, if you prep for the old version, you're going to waste hours, literally hours of precious study time that you absolutely cannot afford to lose. So welcome to this explainer. I know exactly how overwhelming applying to medical or dental school in the UK can be. It's incredibly stressful. But today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. Let's break down the real 2026 UCAT format, what exactly has shifted, and how a completely free platform called Applaa, that's Applaa, keeps you securely on the right track.
Okay, so let's just lay out this comparison right away, because this is where so many applicants are feeling totally overwhelmed. Just picture the old way of prepping for a second. You're drilling for hours, it's late into the night, and you're using these outdated materials that cover sections that quite literally do not exist on the exam anymore. I mean, that is just a fast track to burnout, right? Now contrast that with the 2026 prep. This is all about peace of mind. It's about knowing that every single minute you spend practicing is focused exactly on the real, updated exam format. And trust me, when you know for a fact you are studying the right material, that anxiety really starts to melt away.
I bet this sounds familiar to a lot of you. Traditional UCAT courses can easily run you anywhere from £500 to £2,000. It's an absolute fortune. Then you've got these physical textbooks just piling up on your desk. And the crazy part is, even with all of that wildly expensive material, you still don't get enough realistic, timed practice on a screen, which is, how you actually take the exam. Plus, those generic tips in the books, they don't know you. They have no idea what your specific weak spots are or the exact question types you personally keep tripping up on. It's just a really inefficient way to learn. Okay, get ready, because here is the absolute biggest news of the 2026 update. Abstract reasoning has been removed completely. Yes, you heard that right. The section with all those spinning, rotating shapes in mind-bending patterns, it is gone. If some guide you're reading is still trying to teach you abstract reasoning, it is preparing you for a test that simply no longer exists. You can stop revising those rotating shapes today. Seriously, right now. Close the tab, put down the book. This officially takes the UCAT down from 5 sections to just 4. But as you might guess, there is a ripple effect here. Removing that section changes everything else, especially the scoring system. So the 3 remaining cognitive sections are now each scored from 300 to 900. What that means for you is the absolute perfect total score for the cognitive part of the test is now out of 2,700, not the old 3,600 you might still see getting tossed around on older forums or advice blogs. Now, situational judgment is still kept separate. That's given as a band from 1 to 4, with band 1 being the top result. But for your cognitive score, 2,700 is your brand new magic number. When we break down this current format, you are really going to want to memorize these exact timings so you can practice against the right clock. We've got verbal reasoning, 44 questions in 22 minutes. That gives you roughly 30 seconds per question. Then quantitative reasoning, 36 questions in 26 minutes. Situational judgment is 69 questions in 26 minutes, but really pay attention to decision-making here. 35 questions in 37 minutes. Decision-making actually got bigger. It's now the single largest thinking section on the entire UCAT, and because it grew, the absolute smartest move you can make right now is to shift a lot more of your practice time over there. Most old generic study plans severely underweight it. So altogether, you are looking at 184 questions packed into roughly 2 hours.
So what's the game plan? How do we actually adapt to all this without dropping 2,000 pounds? Well, enter Applaa. This is your completely free 24/7 AI tutor platform. Instead of relying on generic, static textbooks, Applaa features Appy Buddy, which is an incredibly smart AI assistant that essentially becomes your personal UCAT tutor. And it comes fully loaded with 50,000 free, totally up-to-date practice questions. You never have to second-guess if you are studying the right material. Applaa handles all of that heavy lifting for you. The second you open up the Applaa interface, you'll see it perfectly maps to that new 4-section test we just went over. You have your verbal reasoning, decision-making, quantitative reasoning, and situational judgment all laid out clear as day. And notice something? There is absolutely zero abstract reasoning anywhere to be found. That completely eliminates the risk of you accidentally wasting time on the wrong material. It's all built strictly for the 2026 UCAT right out of the box. Let's talk about what a real practice experience actually feels like. Imagine you're tackling a verbal reasoning passage about, say, 19th century coal production in Italy and Belgium. You're tasked with deciding if a statement is true, false, or can't tell. The layout here mimics the authentic, high-pressured, timed environment you will actually face on test day. You've got the timer ticking down right there in the corner, and you have full access to an on-screen notepad and calculator built straight into the interface. Getting totally comfortable with this specific digital layout is absolutely critical, because honestly, pacing and digital navigation are half the battle when it comes to the UCAT. Now this is where it gets truly game-changing. When you submit that tricky cold production question, you don't just get a simple, frustrating incorrect stamped on your screen. Applebody instantly jumps in with a step-by-step logical breakdown of the mock test question. It explains exactly why the passage doesn't support the claim, it highlights common extrapolation traps you might have fallen into, and it tells you precisely how to locate the relevant information in the text next time. You actually learn exactly where your logic went wrong. It completely eliminates that awful feeling of staring at a mistake and having no idea why it's wrong. It is literally like having a private top-tier tutor sitting right over your shoulder entirely for free. And then, every single morning, you can check your UCAT practice summary and progress dashboard. I am absolutely obsessed with this feature. Because instead of just blindly doing random questions and hoping for the best, Applaa tracks all your sessions. It explicitly highlights your focus areas, basically your lowest scoring sections. The strategy here is golden. You look at this mock test summary when you wake up. You see that, okay, maybe your decision-making score is dipping a bit, and you zero in on that exact weakest link for your first 20-minute practice session of the day. It just makes your study time incredibly focused, efficient, and tailored completely to you.
And think about this. The moment you finish a grueling, full 2-hour mock test, you don't have to wait around. You get an immediate, comprehensive breakdown of your correct and incorrect answers across the board. These instant results totally reassure you that you are always practicing the right test the right way. No waiting for a tutor to grade your paper next Tuesday, right? You get those deep insights immediately, while the questions and your thought process are still totally fresh in your mind.
So, let's just lay all our cards on the table and summarize the core takeaway of this explainer. You've got a choice to make. You can drop £500 to £2,000 on an expensive traditional course that might honestly still be using outdated textbooks and teaching you removed sections, or you can use Applaa. It's completely free. You get 50,000 highly relevant updated practice questions. You get instant AI explanations. I really believe the smartest thing you can do for your medical school application today is to head over to applaa.com/UK.
All right, before I let you go, I want to leave you with a quick pop quiz to see what we've learned. It's your turn. Based on everything we just covered in this explainer today, how many sections does the 2026 UCAT have now? And which notorious, headache-inducing section was finally removed? Lock that answer in your mind. Once you've got it, go ahead and install the free app at applaa.com/UCAT to start practicing the current 2026 format for free. Don't waste another single minute studying for the old test. Get on the right track today. You've got this.